Here's how you can lose your last 20, 30, 40, or even 50 pounds of body fat in just a matter of months with my 3-phase metabolic reset method. Also, without having to rely on eating extremely low calories, spending 6 or more days a week in the gym, feeling drastically lower energy, or having to deal with a slow metabolism, hormonal issues, or constant bloat. This will also improve all of your health markers if they're not where they need to be. This is for corporate and career-minded women who are leading teams, managing launches, juggling back-to-back meetings, and still wondering why their body doesn't reflect how hard they work. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to prime your metabolism, optimize your hormones, eliminate bloat and constipation, have more consistent and natural energy levels, and lose every pound of stubborn body fat, and ultimately make sure that it's a sustainable and permanent change. So I don't waste any of your time. This video is only for women who are tired of their body not reflecting the self-motivated, growth-oriented person that they are, women who are already pursuing becoming the best version of themselves and know that their body and health are key to unlocking their full potential. So this is not for you if you're okay with just getting by, being mediocre, or if you're not open-minded to the idea that there is actually a solution for you. If you're looking for a quick fix or another surface level plan, this won't be for you. Instead, click off this video and go watch all of my other content on YouTube or Instagram before coming back here. Now, you've most likely tried other quick fixes and restrictive diets like keto, intermittent fasting, carb cycling, or something similar to Weight Watchers, GLP-1s, Optavia, labs from your doctor, HRT, functional medicine practitioners, or even other coaches. And it didn't pan out for you. At least not long-term, because let's be real, if it did, you likely wouldn't be here. That's okay though, because most women that watch our content, including us, have been through the exact same cycle years ago. The reason why those plans didn't work is because who can go longer than just a couple of months without eating carbs, following a strict meal plan, or the clock telling you when you can eat? They're essentially setting you up to fail from the start, because what do you do when you're traveling for work, going on vacation, or enjoying social time out with family and friends? These methods also don't address your adapted metabolism, hormonal health, or individual differences that exist between all of us. So you're left worse off than when you started, with a slower metabolism, constantly thinking about your next cheat day, feeling like a failure for not being able to stick with it, and ultimately gaining all the weight back and then some. We operate differently by approaching fat loss in phases, which produces better results with less effort and in less time, while most importantly assuring the weight doesn't come back on. This is the #1 reason why in America we have such a lopsided statistic that 90% of people who lose weight regain it all back. We are literally the country that loses the most weight per year and also gains the most weight per year. So in order to avoid that, we must approach fat loss in these exact 3 phases. And at this point, maybe you're thinking that it's impossible to lose pounds of fat without starving yourself, without spending hours in the gym doing extra cardio, and no social life, not being able to satisfy your sweet tooth guilt-free. And to be completely frank, most people do feel that way, including us, before we got started on the right path. But don't just take it from us. Shauna didn't believe it was possible either, given she had been so defeated, gaining and losing the same 5 to 10 pounds, eating 1,200 calories, and starving. But through our 3 phases, she lost 43 pounds and can wear whatever outfit she wants for the first time in a decade, and was able to restore her caloric intake to over 2,300 calories and maintain results. And Susan believed once she hit 50, weight loss was no longer on the cards for her, since everything she did in the past was no longer working. Well, she's down over 70 pounds, all while never giving up date nights and while running an extremely fast-paced business. Or how about Reese? She was able to lose 18 pounds of fat and tighten her body, and she maintained that for almost 2 years while eating over 2,400 calories. And real quick, before we dive into exactly how we did that, I want to share with you why I'm so passionate about all of this. My own weight loss journey started, as most do, with a very restrictive diet. I did keto and paleo for an entire year. I lost over 70 pounds and then realized I could not eat carbs again and gained over 40 pounds back. But I remained dedicated on my fitness journey and found myself wanting to take it a step further. And I actually became a professional fitness athlete for close to a decade. In years following my competition, being the all or nothing person that I am, I was committed to staying as strict as possible by any means necessary, meaning tons of exercise, hours of cardio, 2-a-days, while not giving my body any rest and remaining at unsustainable calories. And all of this was happening while I was also running and owning my own business. Eventually, I started dealing with things like cravings, hormonal issues, bloating, chronic fatigue, and brain fog, no matter how much I slept, no matter how much caffeine I had. That then led to more midsection weight gain and nearly everything in between. But what always worked to lose weight and build muscle in the past simply wasn't cutting it anymore. And in fact, I actually felt like I was continuing to look and feel worse as time went on. That's when my eyes were open to the idea that traditional weight loss advice, simply eating less and moving more, will only get you so far until it backfires and wreaks havoc on your metabolism, internal health, and ability to keep the weight off long term. At the same time, I had dozens of women coming into my gym that I owned at the time, dealing with those exact same issues, looking for a solve. This is when I realized normal health and fitness advice of eat less, move more, didn't work long term, especially for women. So I started diving deep into researching all things metabolism and hormones, and this is where our 3-phase metabolic reset method was born. Now let's dive into the specifics of what our 3 phases look like, so you can walk away from this video with full clarity to take massive action to lose the weight for good, to transform your metabolism, and finally feel confident, feel amazing, amazing and just unstoppable in your own skin. So phase 1A is our metabolic assessment and baseline phase. Most women never actually take the time to assess whether their body is in fat storing mode or fat burning mode, which is why they end up exhausting themselves just to stay stuck, losing and gaining the same 5 to 10 pounds over and over and over again. With our 3-phase method, we start by understanding your body on a deeper level, not guessing. That's why every new client, as a part of our onboarding process, begins with our comprehensive 55-question metabolic intake assessment, which dives into 15 different categories that make up 9 functional areas of your health, including hormones, digestion, sleep, stress, inflammation, metabolism, energy, thyroid, and more. And this gives us a complete picture of how your metabolism, hormones, and internal systems are functioning so that we can uncover what's really been holding you back. Once your intake is complete, you'll meet with one of our metabolic coaches to review your results in detail, and together you'll identify key areas that need support and map out the best next steps to help your body feel safe, balanced, and actually ready for change. From this call, we customize your nutrition, training, and recovery strategy so that every part of your body works with you and not against you. And we want to treat this as a simple baseline so your starting steps are very, very simple and not overwhelming. From there, we begin with your 2-week metabolic baseline phase where you'll pay attention to your nutrition, movement, and recovery while we evaluate how your body responds. This phase now confirms exactly what's working and what's not, helping us to confirm whether your body is showing signs of metabolic stress, underfueling, or hormonal imbalance from your metabolic intake. And we do this to be absolutely sure we're providing you with the right blueprint and roadmap for your unique body. And by integrating these steps into our process, we're able to go beyond surface level coaching and truly tailor your program to your biology and your unique metabolism at this point. And it's not just about calorie counting or workouts. It's about understanding your body, restoring function, and creating a foundation for long-term sustainable results, fat loss, energy, and confidence without wasting time guessing. This is the fastest path to solidifying results. And this is really the cornerstone of what makes the metabolic reset method so effective. We don't guess. We measure, we align, and we transform from the inside out. And this really allows us to make the right judgment call whether to attack fat loss head on for you or go into phase 1B, which I'll talk about here in a second. We know that the best course of action is by immediately providing you with a fat loss framework, including your calorie and protein numbers, the correct strength training and cardio regimen, and foundational habits to support fat loss while closely monitoring how your body actually reacts to this. Now, in 50% of cases, we can see some fat loss right off the bat by removing the guesswork and just simply providing you with the correct framework for your body and your own lifestyle. However, though, 50% of the women who we work with, the type of women who are already eating very low calorie, they've already been dieting on and off for years or even decades at this point, those are the ones that are battling massive hormonal and metabolic issues from the start. Your metabolism needs a reset, and now is not the right time to push for fat loss. Actually, pushing for more fat loss here is the exact opposite of what you need. That will cause you to feel more burnout, lower energy levels, fatigue, bloating when you look at a carb, low sex drive, and just a plethora of other hormonal issues. This would also mean you're having to eat little to nothing just to see a single pound of weight loss and, let's be real, a worsened relationship with food. Skipping this is why people believe that accomplishing fat loss is absolutely freaking miserable, which it is when you're up against a slow metabolism. But this then leads us into our phase 1B, which is our metabolic priming phase. And this right here is the reason why most diets don't work, or they are never sustainable long-term. No one takes the time to actually prime their metabolism, much like what I mentioned above. If we're only ever in a season of fat loss, you'll find over time that your body becomes unresponsive and the weight's harder to lose and it never stays off. It is called metabolic adaptation and no one ever talks about it. The whole focus of this phase is to assess and fix the underlying pieces of your health and even mindset that may be preventing us from achieving our dream body. If you're eating low calories and not losing weight, if you're only ever thinking about your next cheat day, if you're struggling to fall or stay asleep, if you wake up exhausted and always depend on caffeine, if you're only pooping 3 or 4 times a week, yes, we go there. If your period is either debilitating or you have no idea when it's coming anymore, you don't need another diet. In fact, that is the last thing that you need. So in this metabolic priming phase, we'll hone in on those pieces. First, we have to restore your caloric intake and remove that stressor off your body because, especially as a female, low calories for an extended period of time, that is viewed as a threat to your body, which eventually creates lower belly fat that just never goes away. But the key here is we need to do it slowly and watch how your body takes the calories. When it's done correctly over a 3 to 4 month period, you'll notice that your calories are 50 to 80% higher of what they are right now when you started, and without having gained excess body fat, and you'll finally have natural energy levels and less cravings. Just like Janet here, who started with a poor relationship with food, losing and gaining the same few pounds, only eating 1,500 calories or less a day. After metabolic priming, she's now eating over 2,100 calories per day, and eventually she lost 25 pounds in 12 weeks. We also want to dial in on the correct training split, 2 to 4 days a week of strength training, depending on time constraints and goals. That is plenty here. When you finally fuel your body the right amount of food, your strength and energy in the gym goes up, and you'll start to gain lean muscle in less time because your body is finally recovering the way that that it's supposed to. If there's hormonal or gut health issues, this is the perfect time to address it when we don't have the extra stress of low calories or over exercising. You'll find that most improvements are made from eating whole foods and just balanced meals throughout the day, learning to better cope and remove stress in your life, better sleep quality, and an exercise routine that doesn't tax your body, but rather strengthens it. Plus, you're finally able to break free from the dieting mindset and have flexibility within your meals and not feel so guilty enjoying sweets or going out to eat. So this way you can actually say things like our client Taryn did right here. All these shifts in your nutrition and lifestyle combined lights your metabolism on fire, and it turns your body back into a fat burning machine. So losing fat becomes much more effortless, the way that it's supposed to be. The best part is, even though fat loss isn't the main focus in this phase, it often happens as a byproduct. Now, once we wrap up phase 1B, that leads us into phase 2, which is final fat loss. Now that your body is in homeostasis and in a fully responsive state, we're ready to turn on the furnace, for lack of a better term, and head into a very, very, very targeted fat loss phase. Truthfully, fat loss is not rocket science. It just feels that way when you don't prime your metabolism first. You know, your spouse or husband or boyfriend or somebody you know, they're just able to stop drinking soda or take out rice out of their diet and they lose 25 pounds. Now, you'll be able to relate to that as well too, because your metabolism is working for you. The extra walks and the tweaks made to your portions will actually have a positive impact on your body, and it'll actually respond the way that it should. The amazing thing about this go around is that you won't have to question why what you're doing isn't working. You won't be frustrated that you should be seeing better results for the amount of work that you're putting in, because you'll be consistently leaning out and dropping pounds of stubborn body fat while eating more food, keeping in the foods that you still love, still saying yes to nights out, not having to dread every workout. Even better is, as you're losing weight, you're actually looking more toned and defined rather than just skinny because you have more lean muscle. This fat loss phase will make you wonder why you ever approach fat loss any differently. It might even make you question what magic formula is happening that's causing you to lose weight with less effort. The pair of jeans that hasn't been touched in years will start fitting like a glove, and you'll gladly get in all the photos without having to be perfectly positioned so that you're getting your good side. You'll be happy to go shopping with your daughter or your girlfriend because the dressing room is no longer a torture chamber, and you'll finally look in the mirror and be proud of what you see. Just like Reese, who lost over 20 pounds doing at-home workouts, walks in her neighborhood, and never eating less than 1,400 calories a day. Or Erin, who lost over 50 pounds with hormonal issues and PCOS while juggling being a mom of 4 and a very, very high demand career. Now, the biggest issue with most people isn't getting results. It's actually learning how to keep the results so it never comes back on. Most weight loss solutions are designed to set you up for failure long-term. What do you do when you stop following the strict meal plan? What do you do when you want to come off of Ozempic or a GLP-1? What do you do when you don't want to count points anymore? Essentially, what is the plan after you've achieved the result? But let's get real with ourselves. Like, have you actually ever been provided with the tools or knowledge to ensure that this is a lifelong result? Unfortunately, the common path forward is either losing steam, burning out, and going back to old eating habits, which leads to regaining all the weight and then some again, or you end up feeling like a slave to the process that got you there and end up with a high maintenance body. One of the keys is to reestablish more sustainable maintenance calories after your intentional decrease of them through the fat loss phase. Essentially here, you're doing a mini version of the priming phase here to walk your calories back up to a place where when you go out to eat, have food and nights out when you want, or go on vacations and have higher calorie days, which that is inevitably going to happen, your metabolism is built to handle it, and you don't gain 5 pounds overnight or slowly add the weight back on in a matter of months. The goal here is, once our calories are at a maintainable level, usually for most clients, to pause between 1,700 to 2,500 calories. I have 2 current clients right now that weigh 125 pounds and they're eating 2,300 calories at maintenance and they're not gaining weight. So we can transition away from tracking and move more intuitive and mindful eating approach. We make sure that the amount of training and daily activity that you're doing is also realistic and maintainable. It's a true lifestyle at this point, and you don't have to be consumed by the numbers or constantly rely on tracking things for the rest of your life, because let's be honest, that's not sustainable either. You now have a new body through all of the work that you've put in and confidence and knowledge to maintain it so you never have to regain the weight back and fall into old habits that were keeping you stuck in the first place. Now you're able to permanently live guilt-free, never stress about food, having to track meticulously forever or rely on myself or any other coach again, because you now have the know-how. This is exactly what we did with Jenny, who drastically changed her body composition, losing the last 20 pounds that she struggled to get off for years, and is now able to enjoy consistent date nights, guilt-free with her husband, while being a mom in a full-time, high-output career in her 40s. And Whitney, who is now down over 30 pounds with her food above 2,300 calories, and Dominique, who lost over 25 pounds, got her food intake up to 2,200 calories a day and looked absolutely incredible on her wedding day. You are capable of creating incredible results that can last long term because it was never you. It was never you that was the failure. It was the process that was failing you. In health and fitness, there are 1,000 ways to get results, but there's only one that's truly suited for you. And that's likely what brought you here today. By approaching your journey like this in phases, which adapts to suit your lifestyle and makes things cohesive without them being restrictive, it is the best and fastest way for you to get there and ultimately sustain it. This is the last solution you'll need to get your breakthrough transformation so you'll never have to do it again. Hadley is another prime example of someone who looks absolutely incredible. She's down almost 18 pounds, career mom with 4 kids. So if you're a woman who identifies as being a leader, having a growth mindset, being disciplined, and you're ready to take action, and you want to lose anywhere between 10 to 50 pounds of body fat in the next 6 to 12 months without having to spend all of your free time at the gym doing cardio or eating 1,200 calories or less, being limited to only chicken, broccoli, or bland foods, or follow a system that tells you everything you can't do or impedes on your busy lifestyle, then book a call and we'll go over your current situation, what's working, what's not working, where you want to go, and whether it's a good fit on both sides. Again, this is only for women who want to get leaner, build muscle, and have more lasting and natural energy while feeling like they're optimizing their health and their lifestyle for the long haul. So if that's not you, then go ahead and check out more of our content on YouTube and Instagram to get more value before you book in so you don't waste any time. So there are really 2 directions that we can go from here. Option 1, you take all this information I presented today, try it for yourself, invest time and energy into testing it with the hope that it seamlessly works, but also risking that you waste more time. Or option 2, we hop on a call and discuss how we can shortcut all of that and only give you what you need based on what we know for certain works. From our expertise in working with clients we've served already custom built to suit your needs so you can get a flatter stomach, in addition to the multiple months or years or even decades that you've already spent trying to crack the code. You've already proven that you can do hard things in your career. This is about doing the right things with your health so the next 6 to 12 months don't look like the last 6 to 12 years. So if that sounds like you and you're 100% sure that you want to take option 2 so you can get results easier, faster, and with complete clarity and confidence that you're doing the right things, then go ahead and book a call below. Mainly if you never want to have to worry about what your next meal should look like, how to get to the root cause of your weight loss plateaus or resistance, what information is trustworthy and what information is honestly a load of crap, how to effectively train so you can get the most out of your workouts and build more tight, lean muscle, how to weave in flexibility and balance so it feels more like a lifestyle and less like a diet or a chore and not wasting any more time trying to figure out what works best for your body and your goals. Just like Carrie, who went from overweight, frustrated with her results, trying every single diet in the books, to now seamlessly losing body fat and having more confidence than she thought was even possible. And we'll leave you with this. The average American retires at 64 and only lives to 76. Over 50% will spend those golden years dealing with obesity and other health ailments and relying on dozens of prescription medications. So after working for 45 plus years to finally enjoy life, most people spend the last 12 years of their life in poor health, restricted by age and illness or metabolic conditions. If you're wise enough to invest in your retirement, make sure that you're wise enough to invest in your health along the way. So again, you can find the link below to booking a call with me and our team, and we're looking forward to chatting with you soon.